Yeah, I'm not liking the mage. But to be honest, the mage is pretty bad. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Games and Chill, and welcome back to the Mobile Corner. As you see from the title of this video, I just want to sit down for a second and talk about WWE Mayhem. You see, I'm getting a little concerned with the future of this game. Right now, to me, it seems like it's heading more towards. It's already heavily pay to play friendly or pay to win friendly, but now it seems to be going to the point where free to play players aren't having any fun at all. So let's get into it. I have a few things to discuss, and mainly, hopefully, I'm hoping that the developers will. This is more like a message to the developers of this game to pretty much tell them to stop the current progress of the game, rethink their angles with a lot of this stuff, and put the player's interest in mind, and see how that turns out, because that's how the game was when it originally came out in 2017. It was more about the player's interest, but now it seems to have become more focused on how much money can we make this update. So yeah, let's get into the topics that I want to discuss. And as I'm discussing them, you can see my PvP grind for Rhea Ripley going on in the background. I do not have any version of her, so that is why I'm doing this PvP event, to try and get her. And of course, PvP is also one of the topics I'm going to talk about today. Okay, so there isn't much difference in the story mode between when the game, first came out in the first couple of years up until now, except that there are more episodes now than there were before. And there are a few changes, but I haven't really messed with story mode that much. I've mostly been doing events, shows, and PvP. So we're going to start off with PvP. Now, one of the things with PvP in this game, when I first started playing, there was a meter, there was an overall score that capped at 100,000. Okay, well, yeah, it pretty much capped at 100,000. Anything after that would warrant you some extra prizes, but the top prize, which everyone could get, every player could get, was a free 3-star unit. And it didn't matter which mode of PvP you played, whether it be 1v1, the 3-star one, the 4-star character, or any of the key rings. It did not matter. So long as you played PvP, you got points towards that monthly goal of 100,000 points. And once you reach 100,000, you would get a 3-star superstar. The first one I got was Finn Balor. The second one I got was Alexa Bliss, and then after that, they removed that entirely. Now, if you look at that as opposed to now, where in order to get a 3-star unit, you have to get a minimum of at least 600 to 650,000 points in the 3-star, and then in the 4-star, you might as well, unless you want to spend gold to re-up the time on all of your superstars and grind and grind and grind to get at least 2-3 million points, you're not gonna get a 4-star character. So it went from, hey, all you gotta do is play our game and you get a free 3-star unit, to you gotta grind at least 600,000 points in order to get a 3-star unit. Just a 3-star unit. 4-star units, unless you're willing to grind 2.5, 3 million points, and if there's someone really popular, you're gonna have to even go higher than that. You might as well just hang it up. And to end off things with the topic of PvP, right now, 1v1 is absolutely useless. It does not give you points towards anything, and before it would give you points towards getting the free 3-star, but now it's basically a pointless mode in PvP because it gives you nothing. So by them removing that feature, you also rendered 1v1 obsolete. There's no point in it even being in there anymore. Alright, so now I'm moving on to events. Now, for events, I'm not talking about the shows, because the shows are pretty much the same. Only difference is difficulty and prizes that you get at the end. But for events, I'm talking about pay-per-views, special events like Christmas or the Halloween Zombies, and the Ultra events that come with. Now, before, with the events, there were some events where specific characters are required in order to participate. And so the normal and hard and hardest difficulty were locked until you own that specific character or superstar. But in the easiest level, the reward in the easiest level was a 2-star version of that superstar. Now, with most superstars in the game, you can beat just about any difficulty with a 2-star unit. I can't say that for a 1-star unit, but I would say with a 2-star unit, you can beat most difficulties in the game, most events in the game. Besides those ridiculous stipulation events where they take away your signature and that kind of thing, where they take away your signature. Some of them take away your special, that. But yeah, they would give you a 2-star version of the event required superstar, or the superstar required for that event. But now it's a different story. The requirement's still there, but you have to get the required superstar out of the event loot cases, which now require tokens to get. Like, a prime example is the Authority loot case. Now, the Authority 4-star units are a lot stronger than the normal 4-star units, and their abilities are a lot better. So it was more beneficial to go for Authority superstars, being Stephanie McMahon, Triple H, Authority Seth, Authority Kane, Authority Shane. There was an Authority Alexa Bliss, an Authority Lana, as far as I can remember. And they all had special abilities. They all had higher stats. And once you do the Authority event, doing the event would give you a 4-star case with a guaranteed Authority member in it. But now, that as opposed to now you have to collect like Authority Elite keys, which the Authority event comes around once every 3 to 3.5 weeks. The event comes around one time, and you can only earn 1,000 elite Authority keys. And you need 1,000 to open a 2 to 4-star case, and you need 2,500 to open a 3 to 5 star case. So before, they give you a really hard authority event. You beat the event, you get a loot case with a guaranteed authority member in it. Now, the only way to get authority cases is to spend at least 2 months to get 2,500 keys, or you can spend money in the shop and buy authority keys, or you can farm up or spend money on gold and buy authority cases using gold. And it's like, that is how it is for just about every show now, in these events. Whether it be Extreme Rules, whether it be SummerSlam, you have to earn these tokens, which they only really give you enough to open a case once or twice. And given the poor, extremely poor drop rate of like 1.2%, I mean 0.2% on each case, it's like you're pretty much going through a hard event collecting tokens for a 3-star unit that isn't even one of the featured characters. So, I mean, that's the biggest problem I see with events right now. And then there's the second issue, and I know you've seen it in a lot of videos, regarding me saying that I don't have the ability to quit out anymore. So before, I remember, I don't know if any of the other players remember this, but before there was an event called the Queen's Road or something like that, and it was featuring Charlotte Flair, of course. And there were matches in this event that required you, well, you didn't have to, but one of the strategies was you beat the superstar, because they healed every 20 seconds. Every 20 seconds they healed, and they had debuff immune, so you couldn't stop them from healing. So the only thing you could do was beat their life now for 20 seconds, quit out, take 10% reduction of your HP, come back in, and do the same thing over again. And that was the only way you could beat this superstar. But now, you can't quit out anymore. So if that event should come back around, I have no idea how people are going to beat it now. Well, there is one way. If you get the Bailey that I got, she her 5-star ability overrides debuff immune, and it overrides injury immune. However, there's no way to obtain her in the game. She's not in the 5-star loot case. She's not in the featured 5-star loot case. She was only available during that early access, so I got extremely lucky when I drew her out of that case. So unless you drew that character, or maybe if you, I mean, there is a 3-star unit that, well, no, that doesn't work, because the only reason why Bailey's works is her 5-star ability, which overrides all the 4-star stuff, like debuff immune. So, yeah. Now, unless you really pretty much, buy the 5-star units, or you pretty much have to also become a premium player to get some of the better 4-star units, like Hall of Fame Seth Rollins, who is not in any of the loot cases right now, in order to help do events. It's like, now they've gone towards, let's see how much money we can get them to spend in order to beat an event, rather than coming up with a creative way to beat the event with the characters you have. So to sum up my issues with the events, they no longer give you a 2-star version of the required superstar for special events. Now you have to get lucky and draw them out of loot cases, and that is just, in my opinion, the wrong move to make. And the other issue is they switched from actually giving you a loot case with one of the featured superstars of that special event Instead of doing that, now they require you have to collect tokens, and sometimes the tokens can be anywhere from 2,000 for a case up to 50,000 tokens for a case. And it's just like, yeah, we want you to play more, we want you to spend more with less opportunity to get what you want. It seems like that's the path that they're going down right now, and I hope that they change that, especially considering now. Well, actually, we'll get into that next. Speaking of loot cases, the next topic is loot cases. Now, when the game first launched up until a couple of years ago, there was the premium case that had 2 to 4 star units in it, and it had all the units, almost all the units that were available. And then you had the 2 star and 3 star and 4 star cases that had each of the superstars in it, who had those versions. Now, all of these star cases, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, including the premium case, have had pretty much just about all of the superstars removed and placed in these elite cases now. So there's an elite Raw, elite SmackDown, elite NXT, elite Icon, elite Hall of Fame, elite Authority, and then elite Evolution. And the problem with this is those elite events come around once every 3 to 3.5 weeks. And for each event, you only get 1,000 keys. So if for a 2 to 4 star elite case, it's 1,000 keys. For a 3 to 5 star elite case, it's 2,500 keys. So if you want to try for a 5 star in the Raw case, you have to wait at least 6 to 7 weeks. No, actually a little more than that, because 2 rotations will only get you 2,000 keys. So if you're wondering, okay, so who would wait that long? Well, there's also an elite section in the shop where you can spend anywhere from $5 to $100 and get elite keys to open cases. And to me, that just seemed to have taken the game from, hey, you can play PvP, get premium cases, you can play the events and get keys for cases. But now we're taking all that out and we want you to spend money. And the reason I say that is because recently they have removed the elite events from the game. And now you can only get elite keys by buying them in the store. Now, the only reason why I'm not going to go ahead and assume that this is the future that they're heading to as far as elite cases is because they may be doing something with this. They may be changing how the elite events and stuff are going to be done now. And this is just the first phase of it. Or it could very well just be a bug. And they're going to put the elite events in the game where they could be in the game right now. So I won't jump the gun and say that this is a money-hungry move to remove the elite events so that the only way you can get elite keys is through buying them with real money. But that is currently what is in the game right now. You can't get elite keys through just playing the game anymore. You can't get elite keys any other way in the game anymore except buying them out of the shop. And of course there were no 5-star keys back then, but there were no 5-star cases back then, but there are 5 stars now. Only problem is there are probably maybe 25 to 30 5 stars in the game. There's probably a lot more than that actually. But I believe only about 10 or 15 of them are actually in the 5-star cases. they're, for some odd reason, they want, like, for example, prime example, the Bailey that I have, Heel Bailey, is not in the loot case. The new Charlotte Flair that came out is not in the 5-star case. And I don't believe, I mean, there are quite a few more. I didn't see Angelo Dawkins or Montez Ford. I didn't see RVD. You know, there are a lot of 5-stars that were available during events that are not in the 5-star case right now. It's just the regular ones that, you know, came out originally when 5-stars came out. I think this needs to change. So to sum up my issues with the loot cases, they've removed about 80 to 90% of the superstars from the premium case, the 2-star, the 3-star, and the 4-star case, rendering them all useless now. And they've moved them all to the elite 2 to 4-star and 3 to 5-star cases. And they've removed the elite events out of the game, so the only way to get those keys for those cases is through spending money in the shop. Or you can farm gold and buy the cases that way. Or you can buy gold and get the cases that way. But, you know, out of the 3 ways to get the keys for the elites, superstar, or to get access to the superstars that were removed from the current loot cases and put in the elites, require premium activities like spending money. Second thing is the 5-star loot cases. They need to be updated. They should have been updated regularly, but they need to be updated with all of the 5-stars that are currently or have currently been put in the game, either through an event or through a special event or a pay-per-view event. They need to be put in the cases. RVD needs to be put in the case. The Street Profits need to be put in the case. I don't see the guy from Heavy Machinery, Otis, is not in there. Like, they need. I actually, Yokozuna is one of the 5-stars that is featured right now. He's not in there. They just did Liv Morgan. They just finished Liv Morgan. She's not in there. I don't even think Bianca Belair is in there. Bret Hart, I don't believe, is in there. He might be. I'm not sure. But the main thing I'm trying to point out is that all of the 5-stars that have been introduced in the game so far should be in the 5-star case. We should not be getting The Miz 6 times in a row. We should not be getting Elias 6 times in a row. We shouldn't even really be getting Rey Mysterio 6 times in a row. There's way too many 5-stars in the game that should be in this loot case, that you should not be getting the same superstar as many times as players as well as myself are getting. And lastly, I don't want to be that type of player that's just like, here's everything wrong with the game, fix it, right? I'm the type of player that's like, while I'm pointing out the problems that I have with the game, I also want to offer some suggestions on what could make the game, what I think could make the game better. And so let's start with the list that I have here. One of the first things that I have on the list is a 5-star versus mode. Now, there's a versus mode that uses 1 to 2 stars, and there's a versus mode that uses 2 to 3 star. There's one that uses 3 to 4 star, and there's one that uses 1, 2, and 3 star, and then there's one that uses 2, 3, and 4 star. It all varies, but you compete for a 3-star character or a 4-star character, or you do 2 keyring events. But in my opinion, there should be a 5-star event where you compete for a 5-star character. Now, it does not have to be a 5-star character. If you're concerned about too many players getting 5-star characters, which is strange because you're not too concerned about that for 4-star units. But if you're too concerned about whether or not 5-star, too many players are getting 5-star units, you don't have to make the prize a 5-star superstar. Just make it, half the amount of keys you need for a 5-star unit. Now you need 7,500 5-star keys, if I'm not mistaken, to get a 5-star out of the regular box, and you need 13,000 to get a quote-unquote featured 5-star superstar. But I think having the PvP event where you compete for 5-star keys, not necessarily 5-star superstars, but you compete for 5-star keys. It can go right alongside, all the other. It could be a 4-star. You compete for a 4-star and a 5-star unit. And these are the features that could go with this 5-star versus mode. It can only use 4 and 5-star superstars. This way, you won't have somebody who just started the game, taking 2 and 3 stars and going to the event and getting the top spot. It'll mainly be for players who are like probably level 45 or higher, who has a couple of 5 stars and quite a few high level 4 stars. This could be an event for them. Or another option is to make it so that only 5-star units can compete. That way, you won't have whales just taking over everything. Everyone will get an opportunity, right? Only people who have 5 stars, and not very many players. That's the only thing I see with just making it 5-star, is that not very many players have a host of 5 stars that aren't, using a mod. Next thing is the rewards. Now, if you don't want to give a 5-star character to the top players, then first place could be 2,500 5-star keys and 1,000 elite keys for the elite event that's going on at that time. Second place, or from second place to 10th place, 1,500 5-star keys and 500 elite keys for whatever elite events going on. 11th place to 50th place would get 750 5-star keys and 200 elite keys. And then everyone from spot 51 on down would get 2,000 4-star keys and 100 elite keys. Or if you want to switch it up, it could be 2,000 4-star keys and maybe 200 5-star keys. So that's one idea that I had. Alright, the second idea that I had is return all of the superstars that you moved from the regular star cases and the premium case to the elite cases. Move them all back to make these loot cases relevant again. If you're not going to move them back, then remove the premium case, the 2-star case, 3 and 4-star case, and replace them with Elite Raw, SmackDown, Evolution, Icon, and I think that's it. Raw, SmackDown, was Raw, Evolution, NXT, Icon, and SmackDown. So if you're not going to put them back in the 2, 3, 4-star and premium case, then remove all those cases, remove them all, and just give us a way to get, just give us Raw keys, elite Raw keys from the Raw event, elite SmackDown from the SmackDown event, so on and so forth. Because right now, as they stand, these cases are absolutely useless and they serve no purpose. The next thing on my list for improvements or ideas is to get rid of the salt. Okay, with the quitting out of the game, either do that or find some way to know when someone quits out and when someone is disconnected disconnected from the server, because the majority of the time people are not just quitting out, right? They're being disconnected for whatever reason from the server. And then whenever they log back in, their character's injured and they didn't even quit. So a lot of times they were winning. And the server crashes, the game crashes or disconnects from the server, and all of a sudden, boom, the opponent has all their health back and you are sitting injured, as if, it's really not fair. So either fix that issue or put the ability to quit out of the game back into the game. The next thing is something that I've been stressing for quite a couple of months now, and that is to implement some system, put a system in the game that will guarantee the player will get what they're trying to get when they spend real money. There is no excuse for having a pack in the shop worth $50 for a chance at a 5-star unit, and you have 3 stars in the game in the case with like an 80% chance to get a 3-star out of the case. And then the rest of it's I think it's 18% chance for a 4-star. And it's like a 0.2. I know it's a 0.2% chance to get a 5-star, even out of the featured case that you buy for $50. And yet you have no problem putting the option to buy that pack 3 times. So $150, and you have a better chance of getting 24 3-star units for $150. That does not make sense at all. Now, how you can fix that is it can be on an account level basis. For example, let's take the Yokozuna that's out right now. If someone spends real money on their account, if they don't have Yokozuna unlocked on their account, and they spend, let's use Seth Rollins because he's in the shop right now for $49. Well, a chance to get him for $49. So there's only 8 cases in that pack. So if Seth Rollins isn't unlocked on that account, then there should be a system in place where the account holder opens 15 cases and does not get Seth. That 16th case should be a guaranteed Seth Rollins. Now it'll still be a shame that he would have to spend $100 to get one character in a mobile game. But you will still get your money. They will get their character, and both people will walk away satisfied. But it makes no sense that there is not even an increased chance with more loot cases that you open. There should at least be an increased chance for the 5-star to drop, but there isn't. There's a 0.2% chance on every case, with no increase in percentage of chance to get them. No chance up, and no guarantee depending on how many cases you open. So you can spend $150 now, not get the character, then it comes back around, say maybe a week later, and you spend another $150 and you still wouldn't get the character. I think that system is far too outdated and it needs to go away. If anything, once the character is unlocked on the account for the first time, then you implement the current system, so that they can't just keep spending money and overdriving with guaranteed overdrives. But at least for that first time of unlocking, there needs to be some kind of guarantee when real money is involved. So hopefully they implement something soon, because I personally haven't spent anything that I can recall since I made that announcement, a couple of months back. And I don't plan to until they implement something that guarantees the player will get the featured unit. There's so many games out there right now that have this system in place and they're top grossing. So there's no excuse. You can't use the excuse of it doesn't make money, because it does. If you don't believe me, ask Genshin Impact, ask, there are quite a few, King of Fighters All-Star has the same thing. There are plenty of gacha systems out there that do that. There's no reason why it can't be done here. And the last suggestion on the list, just add 5 stars to the Alliance store. Right now, there's no point in spending anything in the Alliance shop. You always put 4 stars in there that nobody wants, or that very little people want, and are very useless in current events. You won't put any. It would be a different story if you put the authority units in there, but you don't. So just put the 5-star superstars in the Alliance shop. That will increase Alliance activity and competition, And I mean, hey, it'll bring more players to your game. It'll bring back more players to the game, I feel. So yeah, that's my, I guess you can't call it a rant because I'm not angry, but I guess you can call that this is, my appeal to the developers of WWE Mayhem. Hopefully you don't take this as an insult, but more as, constructive criticism about the direction the game is going right now. I am in no way a spokesman for all the players. I'm just speaking for myself. Alright. So, but, if you agree, or if you disagree, let me know what you agree about or disagree about in the comment section below. And if you don't mind, if you play the game, send this video RG's way. Hopefully they'll see it, and at least consider some of the suggestions. But yeah, that is going to be it for this, I guess you could say, this little sit down, this little talk, this little appeal to the developers. And, again, tell me what you think. Am I overthinking it? Am I, far left on this? Am I crazy? Or were things better, were things better before these newer updates came in? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And you guys know what to do. Stay away from microtransactions. It doesn't matter if it's Mayhem. Doesn't matter whatever any other mobile game out there. Stay away from microtransactions, and most importantly, stay blessed.